Good evening, everyone, and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Sophie Erber. Sioux City police have made an arrest tonight in the homicide and shooting incident that happened early in the morning on January 1st. That incident leaving one woman dead and 4 others injured. The victim's friends tonight speaking out about the legacy she left behind. And we have the full story right now in our top story at 5. Well, it happened just before 1 in the morning at a New Year's Eve party at 2600 Walker Street in the Morningside neighborhood. Sioux City police counted at least 27 rounds that were fired off. You're seeing pictures of the victim right here. Police say an estimated 20 to 25 people were at the party at the time of that shooting. Friends and co-workers of the 18-year-old woman, Mia Critis, who was fatally shot, are speaking out on her behalf this evening.
She was a very caring person. Like I said, she made it a point to get close to everyone, and she was one of those people that loved so much and gave so much that, you know, you worry about what they're doing for themselves.
And police tonight arresting this man, 19-year-old Christopher Morales of Sioux City. He's now facing 1 charge of intimidation with a weapon and going armed with intent. Both are felonies. And police say other gunmen were involved in this fatal incident. We have much more about the case online right now. And coming up tonight at 6, KCAU 9 News reporter Mallory Smith has more from the victim's friends and also from her co-workers. In other news tonight, the 2021 legislative session in Iowa will begin officially next week after the pandemic created a laundry list of issues and delays last year. KCAU 9's Lydia Vasquez explaining what some issues are that lawmakers aim to tackle and also how they plan to do so during a pandemic.
After the pandemic halted Iowa's 2020 legislative session in March, State Senator Jackie Smith says a lot was left undone. Smith hopes issues like mental health and a child care crisis will take priority this session.
We got pretty far on that last year, and there was bipartisan support for giving more assistance to working families as far as child care reimbursement and helping to pay for it.
State Senator Jim Carlin says he plans to bring more bills to the table this session than ever before.
A lot of people have not been able to visit their loved ones in nursing homes or in assisted living facilities. I want to give a tax credit to facilities that'll build a structure, a window structure, almost like a greenhouse or a window structure that will allow relatives to have face-to-face visits with their loved ones.
Carlin says he's looking to recruit more minority teachers into Iowa classrooms to raise proficiency scores.
In Iowa, we have a lot of students who don't speak English, and I would like to add a 2 to 3 hour daily immersion portion to classroom education for those students.
Smith says one of her main focuses is how vaccines will be distributed to the public.
My voters want to know when they're getting their vaccine. That's just the short of it. And I want to make sure that no one is paying for them, that insurance is picking up the costs, that there aren't co-pays, that this is something that we are giving people free of charge.
Carlin and Smith say they hope virtual meetings will help prevent any disruptions, which will allow lawmakers more time to get bills on the table. In Sioux City, Lydia Vasquez, KCAU 9 News.
Also in Sioux City, over at the current law enforcement center today, talk of the future. The jail authority, along with members of the Woodbury County Supervisors and Sheriff's Department, taking a deep dive into the blueprints of the new law enforcement center in a closed meeting. Now, the authority plans to have that project ready for construction as soon as springtime rolls around.
On behalf of the people of Woodbury County, that we want to move forward on this project as efficiently as we possibly can. And we want things to be in place as quickly as we can with the new building. And that's basically what we talked about.
The former city clerk in Westfield has been sentenced to 5 years probation. It's for the theft of more than $70,000 in city funds. 51-year-old Angela Sorensen of Akron was sentenced Monday after entering into a plea deal to first-degree theft. She was a city clerk in the town of Westfield from May of 2013 to August of 2017. An audit finding that more than $74,000 in undeposited utility collections and improper payments were taken. Sorensen was ordered to pay restitution of more than $7,700, the amount not covered by the city's insurance carrier. Now, the president's investigation recommending probation for Sorensen, mainly because she has ongoing mental and physical health problems. It is time tonight for our first check on the weather. Meteorologist Marcus Beasley is standing by. Marcus, you said it at the beginning of this broadcast. We hope you got outside today because changes are coming.
That's right, Sophie. It looks like tonight and into tomorrow, that's when we're really going to see the weather begin to change. We'll have a wintry mix out there tonight, and then tomorrow a chance of snow. I'll have more on that in the 9 on 9 forecast. But today was a great day throughout Siouxland for this time of year. 40 degrees for our recorded high in Sioux City, 43 in Lamar's, 39 in Yankton and Orange City, as well as Spencer and Storm Lake today, and 38 in Wayne. So temperatures all throughout Siouxland around 5 to 10 degrees above average. Forecast lows tonight only in the lower 30s, and that's going to be key to the type of precipitation we see tonight. Since we're going to be pretty close to the freezing mark, we could see some rain mix in early, but I think we'll see snow tomorrow. Details on all of that in the 9 on 9. Sophie?
Thanks, Marcus. Well, it's the final step in certifying the election of the next president. On Wednesday, a joint session of Congress will count the Electoral College votes. KCAU 9's Washington correspondent Morgan Wright reports on the showdown expected over President-elect Joe Biden's win after a group of Republican lawmakers plan to object those results.
They're not taking this White House.
As President Trump promises to keep fighting, there's a showdown expected Wednesday during a joint session of Congress as a group of Republican lawmakers objects to the election results.
We're going to fight like hell.
This is poisoning the well.
Maryland Democratic Senator Chris Van Hollen says President Trump's claims are fraudulent and hold no merit.
That really he was the one who was elected. This has been proven untrue.
The joint session will certify President-elect Joe Biden's Electoral College victory, but more than 100 House Republicans and 10 Republican senators plan to object to the votes from some key swing states. Van Hollen says the actions of his Republican colleagues are downright shameful and won't change the outcome of the election.
Joe Biden and Kamala Harris will be sworn in on January 20th.
I think it's time to move on.
New York Republican John Katko says while he's sad to see the president go, his fellow Republicans must accept the results.
I think as many as 57 court actions were heard on these various issues, and not one of them were ruled in favor of the Republicans.
Katko urged lawmakers to keep democracy intact.
I don't think we should usurp the role of the American people.
And as Wednesday's joint session meets for potentially hours of debate, D.C. is also bracing for large protests in favor of President Trump. In Washington, Morgan Wright, KCAU 9 News.
More drug makers tonight revealing they will be hiking the prices of their products this year, 2021. Last week, writers reporting on 300 price increases from Pfizer and many other companies. Now that number of medications getting a larger price tag is topping 500. That includes a hike on rheumatoid arthritis treatment Humira. It is the top-selling drug in the world, and revenue from it is expected to top $20 billion next year. Taking a look now at the latest COVID-19 numbers here in Siouxland, Woodbury County health officials recording 3 additional virus-related deaths. 42 new cases bring the county-wide total past 12,400. The 14-day positivity rate now stands at 15.8%. In Nebraska, Dakota County confirming 7 additional deaths, but just 2 new positive tests today, so some good news there. The positivity rate dropping to 12.3%. And in South Dakota, Lincoln County reports 18 new cases, the county now totaling more than 6,900. Thousands of healthcare workers have been infected with COVID-19 nationwide. And could they hold the clue on how our bodies might avoid reinfection? With more, here's ABC News' Elizabeth Schulze.
Millions of Americans have been infected with COVID-19, and it's our frontline workers who've taken care of our nation's most vulnerable, sometimes at their own risk. Healthcare workers across the U.S. have been infected by the disease after caring for an infected patient, and although the virus can be deadly, many have survived. In a recent study, researchers at Oxford University found that healthcare workers who had been infected with the virus and survived either did not get reinfected or had no symptoms with reinfection. The healthcare workers had protective proteins in their blood called antibodies, and those antibodies may decrease our chances of getting infected again. Cases of COVID-19 infections continue to increase every day. These healthcare workers showed that when we have antibodies after infection, we may be protected from future reinfections, though it's still unclear how long those antibodies last. Millions more Americans can still get infected and their lives are at risk. To help stop the spread, wear masks and socially distance with others. With this Medical Minute, I'm Elizabeth Schulze, ABC News.
While welcoming the new year, one couple suddenly found themselves welcoming a new baby. And it happened so suddenly, they were forced to have a home birth. They share their experience coming up.
And it's looking like rain, snow moves in tonight. Tomorrow's looking like a snowy day, and the clouds will stick around after the snow moves out. Details on all of that after the break.
You're watching KCAU 9 News with Sophie Erber and meteorologist Marcus Beasley. This is KCAU 9 News at 5.
It looks like lower 30s throughout much of the area.
Right where we should be this time of year.
Yeah, some average temperatures for a change.
All right, thanks a lot, Marcus. Well, saving a life, perhaps one of the greatest things a person can do. But what about saving your own mother's life? The story of a man who did just that, coming up. But first, even the most prepared parents can find having a baby to be very stressful, regardless of how much preparation they have. The story of a couple who had to race to delivery in their own home, next. Being in labor can be a scary time for a new mom, and being surrounded by doctors could bring a sense of security. However, some couples do choose to give birth at home, and one couple had no choice. Jayla Washington shares their story.
You guys delivered Meredith at home.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Right before their eyes.
Yeah, that was not the plan, but that's what happened.
Michael and Megan Cardwell had to act fast.
And around 12:20, she came out of the room and she was like, things are moving. So there was very little time to act.
Michael and Megan had to flip the switch, and there they were.
Hopping in the tub, welcoming our little girl ourselves.
Not to mention, their 2-year-old daughter was down the hall with not a clue.
She didn't hear the delivery. I mean, she just slept right through it.
They may be all laughs and smiles now, but Michael knew they needed to call 911 for help through it.
Have a birth just occurred.
Michael says the operator was even able to tell him how to tie off baby Meredith's umbilical cord with this shoelace.
Maybe no complications at this time.
If it wasn't for those operators, yeah, we would not. Who knows what would have happened?
Recovering at Ascension Seton the next day in Kyle, both mom and baby are back home now with family.
Numerous miracles had to happen.
They're reflecting.
You can't control a lot.
And reminding themselves that with a new year,
walking away with a little
comes new hope.
Rainbow miracle baby. I mean, what else could you ask for?
How far would you be willing to go to help your own mother? For one man, the answer is as far as possible, even to the point of undergoing a liver transplant. We have their story next. We all have a mother to thank for our lives, literally, but not many mothers have their children to thank for the same thing. Autumn Childress tells us why one son was eager to donate his liver to help his mom survive.
Tashawn Jones is up and walking now, but months ago, it was a different story.
Stomach pain, night sweats, a great deal of just pain.
After months of misdiagnosis, doctors eventually telling Jones her liver was failing.
They gave me different kind of medications and all, but didn't anything really work for me.
The solution, she said, was to find someone who could donate one. At one point, doctors thought they had a match, but when she got to the hospital, she found out it wasn't a good liver. But all hope wasn't lost. Her son, Aquan, stepping in to help. He went and got tested and found out he was a perfect match.
It was actually what I was praying to God about, to actually give me the power to help my mom heal. And that's what he gave me.
He says he had no hesitation, and it was a matter of weeks before both he and his mother went under the knife for liver transplant surgery.
I was happy, filled with joy.
I feel like it's just a miracle for me. Like, it's something that I wanted. This is like 1 in a million. Who can actually heal a sickness?
The surgery was a success. 21 years ago, she gave life to him. But this time, she says,
and you saved mine, and I thank him so much.
I would do it all over again. I would do it 1,000 times.
Beautiful relationship. Well, new installments of Siouxland Stories are coming to you soon. They air every Thursday on KCAU 9 News at both 5 and 10. Also again on Fridays at midday. So if you know someone with a unique story, we'd like you to share it with us. Email us at news@kcautv.com so the rest of Siouxland can hear about these people. Well, taking a live look outside right now, Marcus returns right after this break with one more check on our forecast, so stay with us. Before wrapping up at 5, let's check in first with Tim for what's coming up at 6. Hi, Tim.
Hey, good Tuesday, Sophie. Sioux City police have made an arrest in connection with that New Year's Day shooting. 19-year-old man is now in jail after that 18-year-old girl was killed over the weekend. Details of that apprehension coming up tonight at 6. Also, Siouxland lawmakers will soon be back in session. Members of the Iowa legislature convene next Monday in Des Moines. And with COVID-19 still presenting a challenge, we're wondering how many lawmakers will be able to proceed. We'll take a look after World News tonight. And along the home of the NAIA Women's National Basketball Tournament, Sioux City has landed yet another prestigious game. Jake has that in sports. We'll let you know what will be played once again at the Tyson Event Center. That's all up at 6.
All right, sounds great. We'll see you then. And one more check on our weather.
Yeah, tonight we're going to see a wintry mix move in. Tomorrow it's looking like we're going to have snow throughout much of the day, totaling right around 2 to 4 inches.
Break out the shovels. Thanks a lot, Marcus. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you back here at 6. Until then, have a great night.